Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite you to VASEP Highlight Monthly Pangasius Market Assessment number March 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, Vietnam's Pangasius exports in the first 2 months of this year feature a green growth in most major markets. Total export value reached 384 million USD, up 93% over the same period last year. Pangasius export value to leading markets increased by triple digits. Vietnamese Pangasius firms hope that this trend will continue until the end of this year. There are two prominent features of Pangasius export picture in the first 2 months of 2022. Firstly, the price of Pangasius in the Mekong River Delta has increased to a record level of 32,000 VND per kilogram. Due to losses for 3 consecutive years, food and seed prices and costs are high. Farmers lacked investment capital for the new crop, therefore, they were forced to leave the palm oil. As forecasted by VASEP, the lack of materials for export is expected to last until the end of the second quarter this year. In order to avoid hog growth leading to a supply-demand crisis like in 2018, VASEP recommends farmers and businesses carefully and properly balance the output. Due to the increasing price of raw Pangasius, the export price of frozen Pangasius fillets also increased to nearly 3.5 USD per kilogram. Secondly, the decrease in Pangasius exports to Russia, Ukraine happened at the beginning of the year, even before the conflict between two countries at the end of February 2022. In the first 2 months of this year, Pangasius exports to Russia fell 5.7%, to Ukraine fell nearly 2% compared to the same period last year. At the end of February, when Russia opened a special military campaign in Ukraine, the export of Vietnamese Pangasius to these two markets has stopped. The shipping lines also refused to deliver containers to Russia due to high risks. In the first 2 months of 2022, the US is the leading export market of Vietnamese Pangasius businesses, with a total value of more than 94 million USD, up 119% over the same period last year. Consumption demand increased. Many businesses took advantage of the opportunity not being subject to anti-dumping tax and boosted exports to this market. China and Hong Kong is the second largest Pangasius export market after the US during this period. Total export value to China-Hong Kong reached more than 85 million USD, up nearly 240% over the same period last year. There is a remarkable point. After 2 years, Pangasius exports to Hong Kong were unstable due to COVID, now increasing by over 100%. China continued to impose strict lockdown policy, tightening regulations on imported food inspection, which is also blocking the way of Pangasius export to this market. After 3 years of declining Pangasius export to Europe, many firms have quietly withdrawn from the EU market. This market used to be a major traditional market for many Vietnamese Pangasius firms. But in the first 2 months of this year, hope has returned to the EU market when the export value of nearly 76%, reaching about 28 million USD, in which Pangasius export to the 4 largest markets, to the Netherlands up 78%, to Germany up 98%, to Belgium up 64%, and to Spain up 53%. In addition, Pangasius export to Brazil, Thailand, UAE, and the UK also grew well. We can see an increasingly clear recovery of Vietnamese Pangasius export after 3 years of being affected by COVID, but the advantages of the market are not enough because there are still highly increasing input costs. It is forecasted that in the second quarter of this year, Pangasius exports will continue to maintain a high double-digit growth rate compared to the same period last year. Thank you for listening.